Alright guys, time to grab it back again today. I hope you're enjoying your day so far, and today we're going to have to talk about Rostermania once again. These last few days, the opening few days of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, there's certainly been a lot of players playing with each other, which may indicate who exactly they're going to be playing with, or at least maybe who their substitutes are going to be for the upcoming season around the Los Angeles Thieves, around the Mutineers, unfortunately, is a topic we are going to have to broach, and also the subliners is an interesting question in the air right now. Very intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Really helps out the channel. Thank you for doing that. So first of all, this that came out last night. So Lottie talks about how Tommy was absolutely flying through this freefall for like the FaZe tourney that was streamed on the Call of Duty League last night with the MP5. Tommy says any CDL teams still need a player because of course recently signed to 100 Thieves as their first like competitive Warzone player, I suppose. And Clayster puts his hand up, and yes, okay, subliners are looking for a fifth player. Right now they have Clayster, they have Mac, they have Zuma, they have Hydra on the team, but Hydra is stuck in the European region. He still hasn't got his visa stuff sorted, and therefore they haven't been playing these opening day tournaments with Hydra. And I'm sure that's somewhat frustrating, Hydra, because he's been kind of crushing it over in Europe. I've been seeing his streams like absolutely destroying people, but he hasn't been able to play with the subliners. And maybe that means that he's kind of concerned that they're building maybe some chemistry with another player that might potentially be their fourth. We talked about John, right, as an opportunity for this team. Seems like that really isn't happening. We haven't really seen anything from John, to be honest, these first few days. So I imagine that's not going to be the case. But are subliners potentially looking for a different fourth player that could be, an actual starter over Hydra? Maybe that's a possibility right now. We'll look at that in a couple of minutes time. There's two other teams to really dive into here, and that being the Los Angeles Thieves, and unfortunately the Mutineers is a topic that we do have to discuss at some point, and well, I suppose there is no better time than today. So the Los Angeles Thieves trio of Slasher, Kenny and TJ, they need a fourth player. We talked a while ago about how Kenny was very keen on the Bryce cast to team with Temp. He hasn't teamed with Temp before. Slasher and Temp have some history as well, going back to World War II on much even before that on Advanced Warfare. I think they were on Denial very briefly. They came second place at a tournament, did pretty well. The World War II Envy team they're on didn't fare so well, but maybe this time around they can bring things together, and certainly Temp is probably one of the most solid free agents on the market. Can he run that aggressive SMG role that Model and Co is looking for, with Kenny maybe as the flex? That's certainly a possibility. Maybe Kenny will end up running the MP5 as well. Who really knows what the game plays out over the coming days and weeks. Things could certainly very much change with the metas and all this type of stuff and what exactly is in play, because right now it's looking like maybe a 2 MP5, one kind of flex, one main assault rifle meta, but in a couple of months time we could be looking at a very different thing. So you definitely want players that can be versatile, and Temp is probably one of the most reasonable and also like a very talented player as well. The question is really, Temp and Tommy had that drama a few days ago. Temp and Nature have certainly had that drama. Like, do you have Temp and Tommy and Nature all on the same organization? Maybe you do, maybe you don't, right? But if Slasher and Co and Kenny really want Temp on the team, maybe they do bite the bullet and go for this. We've seen a number of tournaments they've been playing with each other these last few days, and it's very unclear exactly who their fourth would be if it wasn't going to be Temp, right? Why would they play with Temp if they weren't going to be playing the tournaments with him? If they unless they had something else lined up particularly. And as you can see, as he brings up the scoreboard right here, Temp's here, Slash is here, TJ is here, Kenny is here, all that good stuff. So yeah, that is the team that it looks like it's going to be right now. Also at the same time, you've got this that comes in from Parasite. So Parasite's been playing with the subliners. Blast has also been playing with the subliners in some of these early tournaments. I don't really think Blast or Parasite would work in terms of the roles, right? Because the idea is that Mac is going to be the flex, Clay is the main AR, Zuma is the SMG, and then they need like another SMG, right? And that's where Hydra fits in quite nicely, where John would be ideal. Blast really isn't like that fast aggressive SMG guy, neither's Parasite, right? So I don't imagine that's going to be the case. I mean, the clashes between Parasite and Clayster, I imagine, would be pretty entertaining to watch if they were on the team, but unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. But as they say, John, nowhere to be seen, so maybe Hydra should be a little bit more confident that he is still going to be starting, but they need a substitute from somewhere, right? And who's it going to potentially be? Who really knows? We've always talked about this thing with Parasite, for example, as to bring him on as a substitute. Certainly a very talented player, and probably a better teammate now than he was several years ago, but at the same time, you have to consider, look, if you have Parasite on your team, who are you going to swap him out for? Because Parasite is a vocal leader, he tends to be a more main assault rifle type player, which means realistically you can only swap him out for Clay. Is that something which is ever going to be happening? Maybe not, right? But you could bring him on as a substitute and then like have him almost play a coaching role to some degree, almost like what Tommy did with the Dallas Empire at the start of last season. That is also a possibility. This came out a couple of days ago as well, which was spotted. So Temp, Kenny, Slasher and TJ all playing together in some of these online tournaments. So it seems like that's more and more likely. very intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section on how you think this team could be. I think the firepower and the talent is certainly there. I think Priester also could have been a great fit for this team, but given the fact that the OpTic under Thieves acquisition was going down, which is a bit of a nightmare and chaos, I'm sure, behind the scenes, and also Minnesota decided to pay it back for him, and he's, good friends and played with Attach before as well, and this type of stuff, makes sense for him to go over to that Minnesota team, and this might be the best option left on the table for Los Angeles Thieves, all things considered. The other really unfortunate side of this is we've got to talk about Florida Mutineers, right? If you guys missed the news a few days ago, I believe it was on the 10th of November, Ferro unfortunately passed away. We did talk about it on the channel at the time, and I'm sure like after a few days of mourning really within the community, Florida Mutineers were thinking like, what do we do, right? Because we had our team solidified, it seemed like, for next season, with Havoc kind of as that entry SMG aggressive, dirty work type player. Ferro was like the aggressive SMG Slayer type role, which he was so good at in this past Modern Warfare season and in previous seasons as well, and as like our sniper player, right? And then you've got Awakening as the flex player, who was so good when he joined that team, and then Skies as the main AR. Really nice team once again on paper, and they did so many great things in the Modern Warfare season with Frosty on their team as their 5th, minus Frosty into the 4v4 era. Seemed like that was going to be a pretty damn good team, but it hadn't been confirmed as yet, which of course leaves them in a very difficult spot that they've now got to find, some replacement for Ferro, right? Which is, almost, probably an impossible task. And, well, it seems like Slacked could possibly be that guy. We saw last night this come out from Chrome. I mean, the amount of F3 clan tags. So, I figured out a rocket last night. It took me a second to figure out exactly where to put it in. But yeah, I chucked it in when I was playing last night and saw plenty of them around, which was really cool to see. And so as Chrome tweets out, like, Slacked, Skies, Havoc, Awakening. So as I say, Havoc is kind of the entry dirty work type player. I'm not really sure this makes perfect sense because Slacked has typically also been that player, right? We saw especially in Seattle Surge in Modern Warfare that it really doesn't work when you have Slacked, Karma, and Enable that have all kind of played the same dirty work role the last few years, and who's going to actually step up to be the kind of slaying SMG that you need that Ferro effectively was on this team in the Modern Warfare season. So with Havoc, what are they going to do, right? Because Skies and Awakening, of course, is a great combo in terms of your AR and your flex, but then you really need like a slaying SMG, and then like a dirty work SMG. That's kind of like how it's traditionally been seen. And who's going to be your Slayer here, right? Are they going to have Slacked try and be the entry guy? Are they going to have Havoc try and like be a Slayer? And he could do that to some degree at times, but I think he's obviously a very talented player. So it's interesting to see. I think this team makes sense, all things considered. I think that Slacked probably is one of the best free agents available out there. I did wonder if they were going to go down the route maybe of getting an amateur player, because there's certainly some very talented guys like that out there that honestly could work as like a slaying SMG. But Slacked certainly brings a lot to a team. He's won events in the past. He knows how to do it, and that maybe he can help guide these guys to some degree. And Slacked and Skies have teamed together before on Luminosity, right at the latter half of the Black Ops 4 season when Skies joined that team, so there is some existing chemistry here, and I do understand why they wanted to go down this route. But yeah, really unfortunate stuff. We'll have to see, well, how long it takes for the Mutineers to make a statement, or, see what their options are. Maybe they're just trialing Slacked, right? But you can see all the F3 clan tags. It's, yeah, pretty gut-wrenching. So just to mention quickly again on the subliners Hydra situation, as Crone says, Hydra is New York's 4th, but he's still in the European region as it stands right now, with a visa, well, in sight, but not exactly confirmed. And that may mean, as we said, that subliners might be considering other options. I would love to personally see Hydra as their starting 4th, but well, he's not sure maybe that it's incredibly likely to be happening. Doug tweets this out as well, which I thought was pretty hilarious. He was, well, had a tournament yesterday against the Los Angeles Guerrillas Academy team. Doesn't make that very clear in the thumbnail here, is well, Assault says false advertisement academy. But yeah, Doug clutches a nice little 1v3 that I'll finish out the video with, but he also then replies to this and said, should have just said, the team that told me I was the captain then finessed me. So saying that the Los Angeles Guerrillas Academy said that he was going to be the captain of the squad, and then they, for some reason said like, no, that's not going to be happening, and picked up the team of, what is it, Chino, Nero, Poison, Mental, and Exceed, right, is the 4-man squad right there. And Doug clutches a pretty damn nasty 1v3 on them here to show them that they made a mistake. But we'll have to see what happens with Doug this upcoming season. Going to be pretty exciting to see him potentially try and get try and do something in the challenger side. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.
They're going to be coming out from their mid buildings.
Like this.
Check from the right here. You have a stun,
They're smoking out. I would stun check
Nade
it.
bomb and shoot. Free fire.
You have to shoot. Nice. Good
Run,
one.
run.
Oh my god.
That's for making
The
us win.
A-bomb Reaper. The A-bomb Reaper. Go, dog. Oh my god. Let's
Wait,
go.
that's the bomb.
Go, dog.
Alright, let's close this out, guys. Come on.
Yeah, let's get this shit.